video, we'll cover how to use the Powston Platform. So on the login page, you have the option to either enter your email address and click login with email. This is going to send you a link which you can copy and paste back into this browser, or click on the link from your inbox. If you'd like to use a Google login, simply press login with Google, or if you'd like to use a GitHub login, press login with GitHub. Your account does need to be registered first. Contact service at Powston to get an account. You can access more details by clicking on your name on the left hand side. This will take you to the site page. Looking at my own site, I can see the energy prices. These are brought in from AMO and local vaults. So right now it would cost me 32.78 cents to buy energy, and that price is valid until 8:45 p.m. today. At 8:45 we'll get a new price and it will appear here. You can see the historical prices going backwards, and you can see, for example, earlier in the evening around 10 past 8 it was 35 cents to buy energy, and I could sell energy back to the grid at 14 cents. These prices do take into account any tariffs which are applicable based on your region, grid operator, and the state that you're in. You can see forecasts. The forecasts are in a different time interval. They come through every 30 minutes from AMO, and we can publish them here for you to see what they are likely to be. However, forecasts are not always accurate. We do not set the forecast prices. Taking a look at my inverter here, you can see that the last update was 4 minutes ago. By pressing the recycle button, I'm getting it to pull down the latest data, and so now I have data from less than a minute ago. What you can see here is that my house is currently using 600 watts of energy. My battery is sitting at 34%. Digging a bit deeper, we can take a look at the actions page. This chart shows you the state of charge of your battery, and it's currently showing you the last 24 hours. So I started this morning at 9 a.m. with a battery that was 25% full, and by 2 p.m. my battery was 100% full. Come 5 p.m. my battery was still full, and as I went forward in time, I started consuming that energy myself to avoid the peak prices from the grid, and exporting small amounts of energy when the price was high enough to justify doing that. So you can see for this 5-minute window at 6:25 p.m. I was exporting 4.2 kilowatts of energy, which we estimate would be about 8 cents profit for that time period. We can step back in time and take a look at previous days. So here the price got up to 64 cents to buy energy, or 47 cents to sell. And at that point in time, I was able to export 3.3 kilowatts and make 8 cents in that time period. So let's go take a look at someone who had, say, an inverter that was 5 times larger than mine, a 25 kilowatt inverter. So taking a look at another customer's site for the same time period, their inverter is 5 times larger than mine, which allowed them to export 1.53 kilowatt hours in that time period and make 47 cents in the same period that I made 6 cents. So inverter size has a massive impact on the amount of energy that you can export, and therefore the amount of money you can make in a 5-minute period. If we go back to an even earlier date, we can see, for example, on the 24th of January there was a price spike where it would cost nearly $5 to buy 1 kilowatt hour of energy, and you could sell your energy back to the grid at $4.30 a kilowatt hour. This allowed this site, with its large inverter, to export 1.5 kilowatt hours and make $6.51 in that 5-minute window. If I scroll down the inverter actions dashboard, I can see, for example, what Powston did at every 5-minute interval throughout the entire day. So as we scroll down, we can see, for example, at 8 o'clock at night we were trying to export some energy, and earlier in the day we were trying to charge our battery from the grid because we didn't have enough energy in it going into the early evening period. So for example, at 1:35 p.m. today, I was at 98%, and so I filled my battery from the grid. If there's ever an issue with one of these time periods where you think that the action that was taken was incorrect, you can click on the report button and give us a description of what you think the problem might have been at that time. You can also delve a fair bit deeper, taking a look at, say, for example, all of the parameter data that happened inside of that 5-minute window. So when using the report button, we actually get a copy of all of this data. So you can see, for example, the interval time, you can see what the recommended retail price was given what the tariff that I'm on. You can see what my state of charge was. You can see all sorts of different, buying forecast prices, where I was, the sunset time, the sunrise time, history of buy prices, and so on and so forth. So all this data is incredibly important to be able to determine, if something happened that shouldn't have happened, and it's very useful for us to be able to determine how to resolve an issue that a customer is reporting. So we do recommend that customers do press the report button on any time window where they feel like something happened that they didn't think should have happened. If I would like to take over manually, I can go into the Inverter Actions dashboard, and I can click down on this Take Over Manually. I can select how long I want to take over for. So that might be 30 minutes or an hour, or until 5 a.m. tomorrow, for example. So if I say for the next 5 minutes, I would like to, and I can select different actions from my from this drop-down list. So say I decide that I do want to export right now, I can leave a comment that says Brennan is doing a demo. So now I can save that action. Once I click save, I can see the upcoming manual actions. Powston runs the algorithm every 1 minute on every inverter connected to our platform. So when my algorithm runs next, within the next minute, it will put my inverter into an export mode where it will start selling energy to the grid. When looking at the sites page, you can look at the dongles that you might have connected to your inverter. If you have no dongles connected, it'll simply say Dongle Management without this table being available to you. If your dongles are connected, they'll appear in this list at the bottom here. You can order a dongle by contacting us or following the self-service onboarding via the Powston blog. One of the questions we're regularly asked is, why does Powston require a hardware-based inverter controller or a dongle? Powston deploys these hardware-based controllers inside your local network so that it can talk directly to the Powston platform and also talk directly to your inverter, and do this very quickly. We need to do this quickly because power prices change, your demand changes in terms of how much energy you're consuming as appliances go on and off in your house. Your solar panels change the amount of energy that they're producing. And so every minute of the day, we want to be running the strategy over the latest data and determining what is the best thing to do based on the algorithm that's deployed for your inverter. Having a hardware-based controller allows us to do this very quickly, and relying on an inverter's APIs to do the same thing, to date we have found that that process is far too slow, taking up to a minute to deploy changes, which means you could be exporting energy into a negative event where you should be curtailing it for a minute, costing you credits. There are also some limits to certain inverter brands. Some struggle to curtail solar, for example, via their API. And so by having a hardware-based controller, we're able to achieve a curtailment outcome where we otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And finally, the third part about this is being able to pass data in real time to things like Home Assistant. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about the Powston platform. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via the Contact Us form on our website. And don't forget to subscribe to learn more about how you can align your inverter and battery to the wholesale market. See you next time.